Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're still here in Seattle, and you all know it's we're about halfway through the week now, so we've got another one coming up. But I am so excited for today's episode, so we're going to get right on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hi, I'm Carmel Spiro.
Hello. Thank you. Oh. Haha, buttons. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about, what you do, where you're from? Like, let's get the background information.
Yeah, I'm a music booker and promoter for the Sea Monster Lounge, which is in the Wallingford area of Seattle, North Seattle. I book 7 days a week there, about 2 shows a day, soon to be, 2 shows a day. So, and I also run the social media and Instagram page for them. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Man, 14 shows a week. That's a tall order.
Yeah, so we have weeklies, monthlies, and then we have some bi-monthlies and stuff like that. So that kind of helps. But, yeah, I'm always looking for new music. And, it's herding cats, as I say.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, y'all, there's a place to play now. If you're looking for the Seattle area or you're in the Seattle area, there you go. Now, I mean, I've got some stats here that I pulled off the internet. I mean, first of all, shout out to Justin Devers and Mark Matre. Am I saying that right? Matry?
No, it's Mark Matry.
Matry.
Justin actually passed away in October.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she is no longer. It's just Mark Matry.
Gotcha. Well, Mark Matry is the current owner. It was established 20 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, about 20 years.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the home of, on the list here, home of jazz, funk, soul, R&B, so much more. I heard there's even a salsa night on Saturdays.
Yes, there is.
That's exciting.
7 to 9.
And the mission statement even says, strive to provide an unforgettable music experience for all guests.
I think we do that.
That's such a powerful statement. Let's start at the beginning. What got you into this?
Well, I was in the pandemic, actually. I was always a fan. I always went to the Sea Monster since it began. Mm-hmm. So the first owner, Andrew, I knew very well, and I knew a lot of the musicians, and I was just a big fan. Someone's got to pay their rent, so... But when the pandemic and everything shut down, I was working at a pub as a bartender. And we wanted to find a way to do live music. So we started streaming from the basement of the pub. Mm-hmm. And we would have everybody come in with masks, and mostly trios and duos at first. And one of the first bands I bought was one of the weeklies that we have at the Sea Monster every Friday night at 10 p.m., Funky Death. I brought them in as a trio. They're part of their band as a trio. And all the musicians that used to play there and frequent there. We always call it the musician's living room. So I started doing that. Yeah, so we were streaming it from the basement. We couldn't really have live shows yet, so we would put it on TVs, and it would stream at home, and then you could come and watch it outside on our patio.
Wow.
And eventually it moved to the outdoors, and we could do live shows outside again.
That's awesome.
So when that got over, they asked me, because changed hands, some of the members in the band and now own the Sea Monster, Mark Matry. So he asked me if I could be the booker there. So
wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess getting a job by doing it's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess that would be kind of the defining moment there. Tell us about the very first time you stepped into the Sea Monster.
Oh, the first time. Well, it's a long time ago. Oh, yeah. So it's half the size of as it was now. And it was a really tiny place. And it was kind of dark when you walked in. But I remember seeing Andrew, the owner, bartending at the time. Mm-hmm. And he was really friendly. And I remember seeing one of my favorite organ players, Joe Doria, playing there. I think that was the first time I walked in there. And I would go there every Tuesday and hear him play. So I think I went there before that, but that's when I started going regularly.
Gotcha.
So, it was amazing. And if you ever heard of Joe Doria, he's one of the best B3 Hammond player on the West Coast.
I'm not familiar by name. I'll have to check him out.
Yeah, he's a treasure. Guy plays bass like you couldn't believe on a Hammond organ.
I'm a bass player, so I appreciate that.
People would walk in and be like, "Where's the bass player?" And I'm like, "It's called his left hand, his left foot."
That's awesome.
So I kind of was hooked. And I used to be a chef back then, so I'd get off late, and they played late 7 days a week and gave me, kind of a life that I couldn't have when I was working all the time. So it was great.
That's great. As this is a music-focused show, we have a few questions that we ask everybody. They're kind of the fun ones, definitely the crowd favorites. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
It, it was Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses.
Okay,
I was,
wow, two Guns N' Roses. That's exciting.
Oh, really? I was 9 years old.
I mean, definitely not a bad album.
Yeah.
And then what was the first show you ever attended, like as an attendee? Like when, like the first one that you chose got the ticket? Yeah.
It was Butthole Surfers and Stone Temple Pilots.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there might have been one before that. That was the first big show that I did.
Yeah.
I went to.
I mean, that's
I can
great
remember. There was a lot of little shows because I went to an all ages club when I was 12 that opened up in Redmond, and it was the Redmond YMCA Firehouse, and we would go there at like 13, and I saw like Jawbreaker and Goodness and like Sunny Day Real Estate's first show.
Oh my gosh.
Engine Kid, yeah. So, but my first show that I think I purchased besides that would be Stone Temple Pilots and Butthole Surfers.
I mean, that's a great one.
And Nirvana, Melvins.
Now, the Sea Monster has hosted a ton of shows. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you put on a billion of them. And I mean, I didn't even realize quite the extent it was. Do you have any idea how many shows you think you put on just this year so far?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, just an unfathomable number.
So, yeah, I mean, like 600 or something. I don't even know.
Oof.
Something like that.
Oh, I mean, just this first half of the year. Sorry.
This first half of the year. Oh, I mean, hundreds already. I mean, 100 or so. I don't know. I haven't done the math.
That's all right. It's not one I prepare people for ahead of time.
Calculator.
Yeah, but I mean, just so many. Many.
Yeah, a lot. I've been to a lot myself, so yeah.
Now, can you tell us about like one of your favorite ones that you put on? Or if you don't have like a favorite because there are just too many.
It's always hard to pick a favorite.
Tell us about one then that went like just completely off the rails. Tell us about a time.
There's one in particular.
Yeah. And you don't have to name the bands if you don't want to, but just like tell us about the occurrence.
Well, it was a Tuesday night, and now it's instead of McTuff, it's Joe Doria Presents, and so he had one of his many bands that play with him. This is the organ player again, and we've had a lot of people just run through, but it was really cool to have. I don't know if you're into the jazz funk scene, but Stanton Moore, the drummer for Galactic, he's been there before, but he came in with Eric Krasno, which is a great guitar player, and Eric, cannot think of his name right now, another organ player, and they were playing Jazz Alley, and they sat down in with the band like a lot of bands do. You can just sit in. And what was really awesome was that Stanton got up and he goes, I cannot believe this. I've been all over the world. He's from New Orleans. And he said, this is some of the best musicians I've ever seen. He goes, you should have a line out the door every day. So that felt really good.
That's a really powerful statement.
I knew how good our musicians that play there are and our scene in Seattle is, but it was really cool to hear someone else say, I've been all over the world and I've seen, grew up with music. One of the best drummers in America, I think, is Stanton Moore, one of them.
Yeah.
And there's many. But it was really cool and cool validation to hear that our shows were world class, as he said it.
Especially coming from somebody from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like that is like
where they breed
that is
like
their bread
drummers.
And butter. Yeah.
Like the best drummers in the world, the best and he's from New Orleans with a southern New Orleans accent. He was like, this is world class musicians that you have playing here. Skerrick also was with him, by the way. That's one of my favorite local musicians, and so Skerrick brought him in. They were all playing Jazz Alley, so it was just really cool to have them say that. And he said it with such excitement. It just we recorded it. It was really cool to hear someone else say that.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Now you're putting on stuff all the time and you're pretty much in charge of all of it. What do you do for like a work-life balance? Like, do you like go to shows in your free time, or do you like to like be out in the, nature far away from everything? What do you do aside from this?
Aside from going to shows?
Yeah. Or what do you do as like, not going, or if going to shows is your outlet, but like instead when you're not putting on things for the Sea Monster.
What am I doing?
Yeah. What do you do?
I used to be a chef, so I love to cook.
Okay.
I still do. And also, I love plants, so I like to. I have a lot of indoor plants.
Oh, cool.
I like camping. I like going to festivals, which again, music. But
yeah.
I mean, we live in the beautiful Northwest. I like to kayak, hike, all that stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Now,
and I travel. I like to travel a lot too.
Okay, where have you gone recently?
I went on Jam Cruise with another band that I was working with, Delvon Lamar Organ Trio. So. we went to like Dominican Republic from Miami, Dominican. And
Oh, that's super
yeah,
cool.
It's a 6-day music cruise.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow,
we
we're
went
gonna
there.
have to book a show on that one, Cameron.
Yeah, it's quite awesome. Yeah.
That's great. Now, these next ones are kind of for the other, bookers, promoters, people who do similar things to you that listen to the show. Getting all the pieces in place can be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything that you use, like a tool or a platform, or anything that helps you kind of like manage all that and expedite it?
Yeah. I mean, Google Calendars.
Yep. We know that one well.
I put a lot of question marks on like, are they going to do this? I use Messenger a lot with Facebook when I don't have their phone numbers. If they don't have my email. Let's see. I mean, that's basically standard stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that makes sense. When you're putting something together, what are your top priorities in the beginning? Like, what do you want to have ironed out as soon as possible?
I kind of have a set thing that I do, but I always tell them what the pay is. First of all, I want them to make sure that they know they're going to get paid. So we do have different pay, at the weekend and weekdays we have different brackets.
Yeah.
But I let them know that. I let them know the time because that's important because our time slots do change. We have like matinee shows and then we have a late night shows that go very late. Probably one of the latest clubs that play in Seattle. So
wow.
To like 1:30. So
okay, wow.
Most people don't push at that.
Yeah.
So we have two. They have the 7:30. It can start at 8. So I have to let them know what time. What's their pay. What else I let them know? I let them know about our backline, what we have, all the stuff that we provide and what they'll need to bring. You don't want a drummer just showing up with sticks going, oh, I thought you had a kit. I'm like, we got to bring your cymbals and snare.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty given, but it's happened.
I can believe
hilarious. It's pretty hilarious. I let them know that what we have. Who's the contact person when they get there, the sound person's name, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, you said you handle the social media stuff as well.
Yeah.
What is that like for you? Like, do you like interact heavily with like reels and things? Do you like jump onto like the big trends, or like how do you go about approaching that?
I just started doing that. I took over that just about the last 5 months or so. Okay. But it was already naturally, it was easy for me to jump into. But I do a lot of reels now. I just started doing that. Trying to get up on the trends.
They're always changing.
Yeah, and reels are what I'm doing lately. Videos and showing the live music that we do there. So that's what I usually do, and it works pretty good.
Awesome. So. Yeah, I actually I was off Instagram personally for like almost 2 years, and I brought it back I think 3 months ago now for the show, and I'm just like. This is so much work.
Yeah, so it is. I'm on there all the time on both of them. So, that's another tool, but it's a tool. It's how you promote.
Exactly.
I mean, you don't pass out flyers anymore. The flyer is digital now. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And what would you say makes an event successful, and how do you measure success?
Good question. Because a lot of people measure on what are you going to bring, who you going to bring to our show? Yeah. What's your fan base? Yep. I don't measure on that. we want to make money, because we want to pay everybody's rent. Mm-hmm. But what we measure on is the quality of the music. Are you good? And if you don't bring anyone after a while, that says something too, but we really, we more concentrate on how good they are and is this, if you want to be a rock star, I can tell that. And we're not so interested in that. We're more interested in how good you are.
Yeah.
How good you play. Is this your passion? Do you love this? And that builds a fan base. If you want to be a rock star, it doesn't always build a fan base. It's it's more superficial. So I look for the people whose heart are really in it, and it shows in the way they play.
I love that. And I mean, y'all have such a dedicated people showing up, crowd base just naturally. I imagine that just handpicking good artists are going to get good attention.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who come there knowing that we're going to pick a certain quality of music. So, we have all kinds of different fans, but we do have a family, a community. I call it a community because we're always trying to grow it, and it's not exclusive. It's very, it's
inclusive. Yeah, I love that. That's great. I like that a lot.
Yeah, there's no Seattle freeze going on there.
Love it. Now we're gonna jump into some hypothetical questions. If money and communication were no issue, and you could book a 3-bill show, and anybody, sky's the limits as long as they're still alive right now, who would it be?
That's so hard. And also, I don't want to say it because I feel like I don't want to let any other bands not know that I don't love them too.
No, I got you.
So I don't really want to. I mean.
Let's try.
Okay, I can say this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick the most famous and biggest band ever. I mean, I could, but I think that we have a lot of small bands that have never had recognition, that never make it out the door because it's timing or whatever it is. They deserve as much of the glory and are just as good as some of these bigger bands. So I would probably pick someone small.
Perfect. I love that.
I mean, yeah.
That's great. And now, subsequently, are there any local artists that you're aware of that you've been like wanting to reach out to and just haven't had the chance to yet? Or I mean, are you pretty much in touch with everybody?
I'm trying to get in touch with more, but yeah, I mean, there's some people, but yeah, I've reached out to a lot of people I'm interested in, and I think there's a few other people that are reaching out to me too if I haven't. So,
gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, yes, there's always someone. There's a lot of people in Seattle.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now we're all students of our crafts. We're always growing. We're learning more. What is something that you're like trying to learn or trying to do to make this either more functional or more enjoyable, or what? Is there anything left that you would have to want to know to be able to do this, or you just there's
dialed? A lot. I'm not a musician. I'm just a fan and enjoy it, and that drives my passion to do it. So, there's always something to learn.
I mean, like more in your realm of profession. Like, is there anything that you're wanting to learn that like might be more effective, or just a new approach, or is there anything in the realm that like you wish you had more of?
For promotion, I'm always trying to figure out this whole marketing. Like, how can I get more people to come in and get people out? I mean, to see live music. So, there's a lot of stuff I have to learn, and I'm open to it and open to hearing it from other people. So, yeah.
Totally.
I think talking and networking and having a community and listening to feedback from other people really helps. So I'm just here listening and waiting, and I'm open to learning. So
Awesome. All right, now we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. This episode comes out the third week of June.
Okay.
What big things do you have coming up after that?
I mean, I've got a lot of shows that I'm going to, but a lot. Big shows. Oh, that I can promote?
Yeah. Now's the time to tell everybody what they can expect coming up next.
I just drew a blank. I have to get my calendar out. But
you're welcome to do that if you'd like. Yeah.
I might have to do that. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of what's going on.
No, and I mean, again, when I put this question together, I didn't even realize that it was 14 shows a week. Like that's a tall order. That might be a little too hard to promote all the things.
I could always promote our weeklies. We have this, one of my good friends plays a piano jazz every Sunday. 9 to midnight. Ron Weinstein, a piano trio. Just love him. He's a dear soul to us. And also Joe Doria presents on Tuesdays. He always has some of the best musicians in town playing with him.
Awesome.
Funky to Death on Friday at 10 p.m. Our salsa also on Saturday. There are a few other bands I can mention, like our monthly Reposado. Doing Latin Afro beat is really great. They play actually tonight, but they play usually the first Saturday.
Oh, cool.
Of the month. I have plenty of monthlies on Wednesdays and Thursdays that you could check out. And I think some of the best live musicians playing. Usually it's jazz funk, but there's some also they have a jazz bass. They can play whatever they want. So some of it's rock. It's a mix of stuff.
That's awesome. Now, for this next one, I'll go ahead and have you look at the camera for it. How can people connect with you? Not you directly, unless they want to, be on the show, but how can people find out what's going on? Where's all the information? Instagrams, websites. Go ahead and plug all that right now.
Yeah. Well, Sea Monster, 45th Street is one of our logos that we go by. We have a website. We also have Facebook and Instagram. Instagram actually has 2 accounts, but look for the one that says Sea Monster 45th Street. So you can look us up on web, social media. That's how you can get in touch with us.
Perfect.
Or you can email me at seamonster 45th Street.
There we go.
Gmail.
Now, any other like plugs or shout outs? Anybody want to give props to while you're on the show?
Mark Matry, my boss, the owner, he is a great person to work for. He's had a rough year with losing his wife, but we love dearly. Justine, we miss her so much, but that's who I give a shout out to. They definitely were always there for me, and it has created a great community. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Now we have one last question. This is how we close out the show every time. This is definitely a crowd favorite. What is your guilty pleasure song?
Oh, gosh. That's guilty. Oh, God, it's always hard for me to pick. Sorry, I have to think about that. Now you put me on the spot. I don't even know what to say. I can't even think of what my guilty pleasure song is.
What's like a really like goofy song? One that like
goofy song?
Yeah, let's do that one. One where it's like maybe people don't like love it, but every time you hear it, you can't just help but just really lean into it.
Oh my gosh, I can't think of it. There's a lot of I love goofy song. There's a lot of Frank Zappa songs out there. But yeah, I probably goofy, I don't know. Sorry, I'm on the spot.
You're
I can't
totally
think of
fine.
I draw blanks when people ask me favorites or anything like that.
No, you're totally fine. It's definitely a tough one to come up with sometimes.
I cannot think of it right now. Sorry, I can't even think of. Anything Frank Zappa, but guilty goofy song. Yeah, Frank Zappa.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Pick any of them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love it.
You can just like throw it out there. With Joe's Garage, throw it out there. Yeah, Frank Zappa. Any song by Frank Zappa. That's pretty wide open. There's a lot of them.
Well, y'all, definitely go check out the entire discography of Frank Zappa now. But we're going to officially close this up. This has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
Carmel.
Thank you, Carmel, for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jimmy. Yeah.
And we're on out of here. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and we'll see you next time.